The rain had started just as Thomas Bennett's meeting ended. He sat alone in the back of his town car, watching droplets race down the tinted window. At 52, he had built an empire in commercial real estate, but the leather seat beside him had been empty for 3 years now, since Margaret passed. His driver had pulled over near Lincoln Park to take a call. Thomas didn't mind. He was in no hurry to return to his silent penthouse overlooking the lake. That's when he saw her. A little girl, perhaps 4 or 5 years old, with golden curls catching the afternoon light despite the gray sky. She wore a soft blue sweater and clutched a stuffed white rabbit to her chest. She stood just outside his window, staring directly at him with the kind of unself-conscious curiosity only children possess. Thomas lowered the window halfway. "Hello there. Are you lost?" The child tilted her head, considering him with remarkable calm. Then she whispered just loud enough for him to hear, "You need a wife, and I need a dad." The words hit Thomas like a gentle wave. He blinked, momentarily speechless. "What did you say, sweetheart?" "You look lonely," she said simply with the devastating honesty of childhood. "Like me and Mommy, we're lonely too." Before Thomas could respond, a woman's voice called out, breathless with worry. Emma, don't wander off like that." A young woman in her early 30s rushed toward them, relief flooding her features. She had the same golden hair as the child, pulled back in a simple ponytail. Her eyes were kind but tired, with shadows underneath that spoke of many sleepless nights. "I'm so sorry," she said to Thomas, gently pulling Emma back from the car. "I hope she wasn't bothering you." It's been a difficult time, and she sometimes says things." Thomas opened the car door and stepped out, his tall frame unfolding from the vehicle. His dark suit was impeccable, his salt and pepper hair swept back, but his blue eyes were soft with understanding. "No bother at all," he said quietly. "I'm Thomas Bennett. Your daughter has quite the observational skills." The woman's cheeks flushed pink. "I'm Rachel Foster. And yes, Emma is remarkably perceptive. Too perceptive sometimes." She paused, looking down at her daughter with a mixture of love and concern. "We just moved to the neighborhood. Her father, he passed away 2 years ago. Car accident. She was so young, but she remembers him." Thomas felt his heart tighten. "I lost my wife 3 years. Ago. Cancer." Their eyes met with the instant. Recognition of shared grief, that particular loneliness that settles into your bones when the person who knew you best is gone. Emma tugged on her mother's sleeve. "See, Mommy? He understands. Mr. Rabbit thinks we should be friends." Rachel laughed softly, though tears glistened in her eyes. "Emma has recently decided that Mr. Rabbit is an excellent judge of character." Thomas surprised himself by smiling, really smiling, for the first time in months. "Well, I would never question Mr. Rabbit's judgment." He crouched down to Emma's level, his expensive suit forgotten. "What else does Mr. Rabbit think?" Emma looked at her stuffed companion seriously, then back at Thomas. "He thinks you should come to our house for tea. We have cookies. Not fancy ones, but they're good. Mommy made them." "Emma," Rachel said gently, embarrassment coloring her voice. "Mr. Bennett is probably very busy." "Actually," Thomas interrupted, standing slowly, "I have nowhere I need to be, and it's been a very long time since I've had homemade cookies." That afternoon marked the beginning of something neither Thomas nor Rachel had thought possible again. A second chance at the family they'd lost, over tea and chocolate chip cookies in Rachel's modest apartment. Thomas learned she was a nurse working double shifts to make ends meet. He learned that Emma loved butterflies and wanted a garden. He learned that Rachel read poetry at night when she couldn't sleep, and that she still set the table for 3 before catching herself. In the weeks that followed, Thomas found reasons to drive by the park. Sometimes Emma was there with Rachel, sometimes just playing nearby while Rachel worked. He began joining them for walks, then Sunday dinners, then became the person Rachel called when the sink leaked or Emma had a nightmare. Emma called him Mr. Thomas at first, then just Thomas, and finally, 6 months later, whispered Dad one evening when he tucked her in after Rachel had worked a late shift. He had cried then, sitting on the edge of that small bed in the glow of a butterfly nightlight, realizing that hearts don't replace what they've lost, They expand to hold more. Rachel and Thomas married, in a simple ceremony in that same park where Emma had looked into his car and spoken the truth only a child could see. Emma was the flower girl, of course, with Mr. Rabbit serving as honorary ring-bearer. Standing at the altar, Thomas looked at his new family and understood what Margaret would have wanted for him, not to stop living, but to live fully again. To let kindness and chance encounters open doors you thought were closed forever. Sometimes wisdom comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it whispers through the voice of a little girl with a stuffed rabbit, brave enough to name the loneliness we all try to hide. And sometimes the family we need is waiting just outside our window, if we're only willing to roll it down and say hello.